Hello everyone, this is Roman with another tutorial slash explanation of a proper Amazon metric processor, and it has been brought to my attention that there is a little confusion throughout our customers of how this is all work and connected, which is understandable, but that's why I'm making those videos, and that's why we have our AI agents here helping you out to understand how it all works. But let me make a dedicated video. So the most important thing to get to know your statistics and metrics and correct COGS of the inventory and correct amount of the gross profit and eventually net income is to correctly assign cost of goods sold. And cost of goods sold are living in the purchase order section. So when you hit the purchase order section, you can either see the Sankey chart of the purchase order, but let me get you through like step by step. So this is all of our personal orders that we made with our suppliers within particular countries and quantities and amounts. And if you put them on the dashboard from this is like a 6 months period, you would see that within 6 months we had 5 purchase orders. So this section here, this is the purchase orders, and those purchase orders are containing different quantities of different SKUs. So this green section is the SKUs that you currently sell. I know that there are many sellers who sell gazillions and millions of ASINs, right? That's why we have grouping here, so you can group them together. Group product, hold on a second, go away. Group products, ungroup products, and moreover, if still it doesn't help, you can create your own filter here and create your own product groups here, so you can filter out whatever products you want to see within whatever purchase orders you created. Again, if it's too ambiguous to create the grouping, you always pop into this guy and tell him, yo man, just create me groups according to supplier, according to master carton box, according to the color, whatever. You just tell him what to do, it will do it. And on the top left section, you see all of the supplies. There's nothing to hide from me. There's nothing to hide from us. You can see our supplies. It's not a big deal, right? But yeah, it's really handy when you have multiple suppliers for a particular ASIN, so you'll be able to see how much quantity you ordered from which. It will be super handy for your CPA and for a person who is making the payments to keep track on everything on payment calendar here, but we're talking about purchase orders. Then when you create the purchase orders, technically you need to ship those units, right? And in Amazon realm, we're dealing with Amazon FBA shipments. So this orange section is dedicated to shipments. And as you can see, we have like shipped section and draft shipment section. Again, there is a grouping here. So if I ungroup, you would be able to see how many real shipments we had and how many drafts we had. So let's talk about them one by one. So as of now, we have a current purchase order 190, but I will take it out from here. So I'll filter out only our current purchase orders, so you would see how they all linked to the shipments. So you see, this is the current orders that are already on Amazon. How do I know that? Because there are no blue lines. So they're gradient lines. If the shipment is in transit, currently we have zero shipments in transit. So everything came to Amazon safely. And now on our balance sheet, we would be able to see here, balance sheet again, I will not go into details right now about that, but we would be able to see our inventory that we're currently holding on Amazon. So if I ungroup shipments, I see all of the shipments through which the purchase order was shipped to. And to the next section, to the purple section, you see the basically fulfillment centers codes where the shipments are going to, and on the top right section you see to each country how many units and through which shipment everything was delivered. I hope it all makes sense, especially when you're dealing with a lot of shipments, with a lot of purchase orders. So to be successful in this, you need to keep on track on the money flow, document flow, and inventory flow. And it's unbearable if you do it through Excel and emails and constant ping-ponging of the documents in your Slack or group chats or WeChat, God forbid. But that's why we have everything here That's why we stand for proper Amazon metric processor, because we know what we're doing. So let me get back our purchase order, which was 190. It's our current order. And technically what's happening right now, we have this purchase order for 3,700 units. And our MCP server, our AI, our Opus, suggested us to ship those units throughout 4 different shipments to 4 different countries. And that's why on this section it's still unallocated, because it's a draft shipment. It's just a guess, a suggestion of what would we need to do. So how many units we need to ship a particular country according to our sales velocity. So the AI helped us to do so. So that's why on the fulfillment center section we don't have fulfillment center yet, because we have not confirmed the shipment yet. And so now we're in the process of getting the quotes and calculating how much money we need to put aside for the freight cost, custom delivery cost, paperwork, and to put some money aside for unforeseeable overheads like demurrage or something, God forbid, again. And that's how it looks like on the Sunky charts. It's all understandable. Once you get into root of this, once you like actually leaf through all of that, you'll not be able to stand to the Excel files anymore, or email chains anymore, because everything is here, super comprehensive, super understanding. But if you still have troubles, let me go into details within purchase order. So we go to the purchase order, and as of now, it has been created by the AI. He correctly calculated the quantity, how much we needed within this order. He asked what would be the supplier for those ASINs. So we assigned the supplier. We already have the predetermined price with the supplier. Here on this column, we have a metric over how much units per box actually shipping it's necessary for a freight forwarder. And you know what the beauty of it? It's divisible. So you see, I cannot adjust this because it sits on the dictionary here. So this amount is divisible by 4. So for example, if I make 5, it would immediately say like, oh, it's not divisible by 4. You need to add 1 more, you know. Just a little tweak that make life much more easier. So what do we have here? We have here the draft shipments from the conservative plan. You see those names? This is all the draft shipments, the status of drafts. Why draft? Because we have not confirmed those quantities with Amazon yet, because Amazon is really, really picky of destinations and fulfillment centers and quantity. In other words, if we clicked on the unit allocation on the right side, you would see basically the same Sunky chart that you saw on the main dashboard, but it's specifically dedicated to this order. Your suppliers, your ASINs, your shipments, draft shipments in this regards, and your fulfillment centers and countries. And again, you can group ASINs if you sell millions of ASINs. So what is going to happen now? First of all, we are going to see the inventory trends. We have the approximate date of arrival of those shipments. It's approximate. Why it's approximate? Because we are currently negotiating with the freight forwarders of when, how, and through which port we're going to ship those units. But again, here, if you click the approximate delivery date, right now it says like 23 of July, but let's change it to 22 of July. What? July 22. And what is happening here? This graph is showing you like your current situation of the inventory on this particular market where you're shipping on this particular ASIN, and it shows you like, oh, okay, on the June 22nd, this is your kind of inventory will look like. July 22nd. This is your inventory. This is how your inventory will look like. Again, it's just approximation because the sales velocity can change. I don't know, availability of units might change. So your slope of this curve could be very steeper or shallow, depending on your situation. But the inventory trends will give you a glimpse whether you're going out of stock by aiming to a particular date within a particular ASIN within a particular country. It's very detailed. Then, oh yeah, if you have a team, don't go. If you have a team and the team is working simultaneously, we have a change history here. So technically, when you adjust something here, whether you add a note or change the quantity or anything, you need to update the order. And the update the order section allows us to see the change history of like who, when, and how by how much change something. You see here So it's just not just to make things transparent within a team, because I know managing Amazon business is not easy. So that's why the cohesiveness of information is super, super important. Here as well, you can attach some attachments to the order, which is, yeah, again, it's still empty because we have only draft shipments. Once we confirm with the shipments, the folders with those shipments will be flooded with invoices, labels, billings, and everything. As of now, we're still getting the quotes, and I'm just showing you how it all works. And then we have a payment section. The payment section technically takes all of your invoice value and help you out to make a payment calendar, just for you to track all of the payments that are about to happen. Because, for example, this order is like 86,000. And it's not including the shipment, so the shipment would be like 20,000. So essentially, the whole order $100,000, right? And it's super risky and unwise to buy at that amount right away for the full quantity, and especially if you're doing business for quite a while. You most likely negotiate the payment terms, negotiate the time, negotiate the wire instruction and all of that. So that's exactly why we have the payment calendar here. So you take a note of the quantities, of the amounts, of the supplier, of the purchase of the payment, and just for you to check whether you paid it or scheduled, or the payment is overdue and you need to reach out the receiver to adjust the payment date. As of now, we don't have a shipment payments because, again, we are trying to calculate and create the shipments with Amazon itself. Once we do that, what's going to happen? We're going to take this draft, go into the draft here. So let's talk about this shipment in particular. As of now, we're working on the quotes. We'll get all of the quotes that we needed. We'll store them here, and then attribute those expected costs to the shipments. Let's say for freight, where is it? Freight. For freight, it will be, let's say, 10,000, and I just save the cost. So now it's saved 10,000, and we will show you here that 10,000 has been divided. Oh yeah, I chose even, which is not correct. We need to divide the freight cost by the volume. Yeah. So I saved by the volume, and you see it's recalculated everything. So it's strip out $10,000 here into different portions of amounts that needs to be assigned to a particular ASIN. Why? Because then you take this amount, divide by quantity, and you will be able to see how much was a cost per 1 unit within of a freight cost, obviously, per 1 unit within this particular shipment. And then you will see the landed cost. That landed cost presumably is final, unless you have some overheads, unexpected, or demurrages, or fees, or something. That landed cost is going to Mission Control Center. I hope I made myself clear. So the final cost that you incurred here on the shipment is final cost that will eventually go to this section here, when at the point of arrival on Amazon. Because before that, it's uncertain whether you're going to get the units or not. The track might be lost, your inventory might be seized, or anything. So it's unwise to put them on the balance sheet before you receive them. So that's why you have it in our system, and then keep track of it. Let me go back to purchase order 190, and you remember we put we put 10,000 on the shipment costs. So we go to payments, and now it says me like, okay, you have a 10,000 to cover. I mean, when I say cover, you need to add them into payment calendar. You need to schedule those 10,000, when you're going to pay them and to who. Everyone who are you dealing with can be saved in the dictionaries. So when you attribute the cost, let's say I'll die like add shipment cost, and let's say like 10,000, and this will be paid at the point of arrival, let's say July 17, and let's say we deliver by, I don't know, AGL. I put AGL here and put it for the freight and schedule and save, and that's it. All I need to do is to keep track on cash flows, and remember that on July 17th I would have to have 10,000 on my bank account to pay for the freight. That's how it all works. It's super straightforward and easy, but again, If any concerns, you always can call this AI guy and ask for help. It knows the code. It knows how everything is interconnected. It knows where and how to attribute different costs and to correctly calculate the eventual price. And here, the summary. So once we do this exercise across all of the shipments, because as of now, I just did one shipment, right? But we have 4 of them, and they draft. So when they're going to be real, might be 7 shipments, and there will be cost on any stage of that. So you can keep track of that within one purchase order, and eventually what you're going to have the grand total of payments that you have. Part of it will be for the purchase order, and part of it will be for the shipment costs. Of course, if you have additional costs, this little section will be having little more tentacles here, so you will see the final price. But you got your point. You got your final cost per unit on a particular purchase order within a particular shipment to the particular countries. That's why when you click COGS here and go to COG as a graph, regardless of the country you're choosing, right? You see the timeline of your COGS. You control it. You see where is it like, you see it's like 2% increase, like 0.5% increase, and actually like in January we had a reduction, which is we did something better than before. So only by controlling the cost of the COGS, you'll be able to see your unit economics and rely on your margin that you see. Because most of the fees will eventually be taken from Amazon, and you have slim to none control of this fees. Most of the control reside in the COGS side. That's why we build the proper Amazon metric processor. I guess that's it. Thank you so much. I would gladly to get a feedback. If you know someone who's doing Amazon selling and struggling with purchase orders and shipments, please just share this link. There's a 3-month trial, no credit card needed, nothing. I will gladly to onboard you along with the AI if you still don't know how to use it, but you better do. We live in a beautiful time. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much. Have a good night.